Hi Leo, and welcome to my channel. First and foremost, I have to make an introduction just like I did for all the other signs I have read for so far, which is a big apology for the poor setup. I understand it's not professional and I'm promising to step up my game, but the thing is I really felt called to start this journey at this time, and for a change, because this is a bit unlike me, but I would have, I didn't want to wait for, to have everything set up perfectly and do everything by the book. I just felt called to start my readings, hoping that somebody can take advantage of them and find support if needed. And I figure that I can get the perfect setup while I'm on the journey. So thanks for your patience, and especially because I will be moving my phone around, so I understand that visually it won't be the most comfortable video to watch, but I hope you find some insights in here that will help you. Now, last thing I'd like to say before I start the reading is, if you haven't watched my very first video yet, please go do so, because that's where I explain how I read my cards, which is intuitively for sure, but what I do is to blend astrology into the tarot reading, because astrology is what I do, what I live, what I breathe on my daily life. And so I find that both the tarot and astrology can give great insights and a great deal of information too, about where we are in life. So this is how I do it. So hopefully this resonates with you. And if so, then let's start and let's see what the energy for this specific time is for you. Now, remember that you may be seeing this video like much later. I'm at the time of recording is March 2024, but whenever you find this video, that means that it's the right time for you to watch it. But also a reminder that all energies are really fleeting and nothing is always the same. And so whatever is happening now, it doesn't have to be forever. This is a temporary reading and it's a collective reading. So please take whatever resonates with you and forget everything else, because that means that the message is intended for somebody else. Okay, so all right, let's get started. Leo, what can I say? It was a very deep a very deep reading, a very deep content I found, and to be fair, of all the readings I've done so far, I felt called to use this deck, which is extremely deep on its own, just for you, Leo. It's the first time I'm using it in these online readings, and I felt that your sign could handle it, and that I would have found insights on this deck for you specifically. So here I am. I hope you like it. It's an intense, like I said, it's an intense deck. So apologies if it may seem disturbing at times, but it really helped me connect with your energy at this time. Now, what I normally do to start my reading, because indeed I base myself on astrology, is to figure out what the energy is surrounding the sign at the time of my reading. And this is the deck I use, and this is the card I found for you. That's the one the shuffling came out, and it's the 7th house of partnerships. Now, what does that mean? If you know a little bit of astrology, you probably already know what the 7th house is all about, because it's a very popular house for most of us. It definitely can be the house of relationships, intended as we normally define a relationship on a daily basis. So with somebody that you love, somebody that doesn't have to be necessarily an intimate partner. It could also be a friend or a dear one, a loved one, a family member. But, most of the time people come for a reading when there's a matter of the heart that is that they're concerned about. So that could be the case, but also let's not forget that partnerships involve a whole lot of other kind of of partnerships. So that could be, like financial, it could be, at work, it could be anything. And specifically, the seventh house also refers to anything connected to the law. And so anything legal. So it could mean, it could be identified with contracts, for example, or deeds or inheritances, although that's more of an eighth house kind of topic. But let's not forget, my point is, let's not forget that partnerships can mean a whole lot of things. So let's try to keep an open mind, because especially this is a collective reading, so it won't resonate for all of us at the same, in the same way. And so for some of you, it will be all about a relationship, but for some of you, will also be about something different. And the reason why I'm actually specifying more this concept is because, like I said, this reading was quite intense, and I'll explain you why. It was intense because it was different. It was different because I have we're talking about a Leo, a fire sign. You know who you are. You love what you do. You love to have fun. You love to be assertive. You're a generous sign. Generally speaking, you can sometimes tip more into your shadow, which we all have, shadow and light. We're all made of both things, just like female and male energy. So there's no distinction in gender here either. But you know what sometimes the Leo can tip into is a bit more of the egotistical kind of energy that can prevail at times when they don't feel acknowledged in the world, for example. It can be a little bit of arrogance. There could be a little bit of, hey, where's my spotlight? That's where I need to be, because that's where I belong. Which, by all means, Leos are charismatic and beautiful people in that they really can lead the flock, let's say, and they can do that in many different ways, but mostly generosity is one of the main traits, which is why I love every sign, but Leos are in my heart because of that too. And so there was something really connecting to the leadership qualities specifically in this video, and that's why it made it very intense and very interesting, especially because the card of partnerships has popped up. So why am I saying this? I'll give you an overview, so forgive the movement, but this is what we're gonna get to now. I'm gonna show you the cards. So this is a bit of a bigger overview. Okay, so this is all the cards that came out for you. I'll show you a couple of more in a minute. They're not here because they're not from this deck. Why do I mean that leadership is actually a main factor in this reading? Let's have a look. We have the Father of Water here, and then we have the Father of Air here, which was pulled out as a clarifying card. I'll get to that in a minute. Then we got here the Father of Earth, and then the Father of Fire. What does that mean? The fathers in this deck, they are all they're representing the kings. So we got the 4 kings. All the suits are out in one single reading. 2 on one row. The first row, which is what are we talking about? And the second row is, okay, what's going on at this time? And so what does this tell me? When you have, I do read intuitively, but obviously there is a pattern to follow in tarot, and just like in anything, and even if that wasn't, definitely is what struck me, that 4 kings in the tarot can mean a few things, but definitely they have to do with people or personalities that are highly influential. Kings can be associated with people that are at the top of the industry, for example, people that can be regarded in a certain way, that they have, that they are followed because they have some kind of skills that not everybody has. And then if it's in a career kind of context, now my readings are general at this time. I'm reading specifically, let's say, in the month of March, and so I'm reading the energy of this time, so I'm not splitting this into a career reading or a love reading. But if your energy, if you are at this time in a career kind of moment where you need some guidance. Having four kings in a career can mean a few things. It can mean a source of tension in the relationship, and here we go back to the seventh house, in the relationships that you have with other influential people. For example, at work, maybe there is some competitiveness with some colleagues that are at your same level. That's just an example. Or maybe you need to fight hard to stand out in the crowd, which is something a Leo would need to do to just, to feel good about himself. Alternatively, if you're thinking about somebody specifically, and so you're here more for a relationship kind of guidance, then having four kings can mean, for example, that you're going to be, or you are involved, or you're thinking of getting involved with somebody that is highly influential, somebody famous, for example, or somebody that is popular in your circle. And it could also mean that if you're reading as a cross watcher, for example, for somebody else, for a partner, for somebody you love, it could also be that that person is about to climb the career ladder, for example, and you both will benefit from it. So there are many ways to interpret these cards, but one thing that all of these interpretations have in common is that we're talking about some influential energy that is so evident and so profound and repeated throughout the reading that it's just impossible to ignore. Now, if we were to go, which we will, into a bit more of a detail, because there is something going on underneath all of this power and all of this being influential. So let's have a look. So we first have the Father of Water up here. I'm not going to move the phone so that I'm not going to make you dizzy. The Father of Water is somebody that is emotionally mature, somebody that is in tune with his own feelings, and is like, to go back to the leadership qualities, is definitely a wise counselor that acts with his heart. It doesn't stay all in his mind. So it's a person that has a whole lot of compassion for others and wants to help others. So it's actually somebody that is very, humanitarian, if you will, in some sort of way. And this is how the reading starts. So that could either mean that this is you, or it's embodying the person you're thinking about and that you're reading and that you are watching this reading for, or that could be somebody that you're, somebody that you have close to you, and maybe you still don't know what to make with this person, but at least these qualities should be enough for you to identify who we're talking about, whether it's you or somebody else, okay? Now, this card is followed by the card of gain here, which corresponds really to the Nine of Pentacles in a regular deck. And what does that tell me? Well, that tells me that even if we have a King of Cups, let's say, so Father of Water right there, which is already emotionally very mature, the card of gain tells me that there is even more to grow and possibly on a different level. So the Pentacles suit is the suit of earth, so the opposite of water. And so basically, maybe this person that we're talking about, this Father of Water, needs to that there understands, because he's wise enough, he understands that there is more growth there that can be had, and it's like the universe will understand and recognize the humbleness even of this wise man, understanding that he still needs to grow even more. Anyways, the card of gain is definitely a card of it's still improving, still learning, which is something that when you are a king, you possibly wouldn't think of doing, but because you're wise, it just makes you even more prone to leadership qualities and to be loved more by the people that listen to you and that want to learn from you. Because if you question yourself, if you don't feel like you have reached your top, then people are more open to listen to what you have to say, because they understand that you just keep questioning yourself, that you keep wanting to add to your expertise. So that is actually a very good card to get close to a king, for example. And so this is where the reading begins to unfold, let's say. So we have this skilled person that still wants to learn. So what's going on here? The card of adjustment here, which is the card of balance and so justice, let's say in a regular tarot. It's basically a need to understanding that there's a need to balance out something that is out of balance, like to put it very, very simply. Let's not forget, let's go back to the seventh house, which is the house of, sometimes it's associated with the sign of Libra, but in astrology, we understand that we don't really associate signs and houses because they come from very different places and they were not meant to go together. Yes, there are some traits that are recalling the sign in correspondence to a certain house at times, but at times that's absolutely the opposite or very, very far from the meaning. So let's try to not make those kind of associations. That said, the seventh house is the house of justice, though, because as I said before, is the house of legal matters. So lawsuits and anything that's connected to that. So this card, this adjustment card right here, just tells me that there is a need for more fairness, perhaps, or more balance, simply as that. Or maybe there has been something that has happened now. Like I said, it will be different for all of you, but there's some need for justice to be established in a legal matter or in a relationship. Somebody's been unfair to you, or you have been unfair to others. You will know which one resonates. So this is where the reading starts to take shape. And then this is the thing that happens that kind of gives me the input into understanding that perhaps this is something so deep and in need of change. It's the card of grief came up right here. So you have this powerful person that understands the principle of learning more, that understands the need for justice, and then there's a card of grief. And so what this tells me is that there's some kind of pain here that needs to be overcome, whether because there was a lack of balance or there was an injustice done to you or that you have done to a person or in a situation. And there is a need to overcome something that has been possibly destroyed for us, something that hurts us very much. It could also mean that there may have been, or there is, and like there's no time frame here, but there could have been a betrayal, for example, or some broken trust somewhere along the path, or a painful truth that needs to be faced, and we just don't have the courage to do it. So it's really something difficult to face, and perhaps the tendency with this card is to try to avoid the kind of pain that comes with it, because the pain is numbing, and so we'd like to kind of continue not feeling it. But when this card comes up, is a confirmation that something needs to be, again, it's rebalanced. So that could also be what the adjustment card refers to. Now, because I wasn't sure what this card of grief was representing, and like I said, even if it's going to be different for all of you, I just needed to kind of pull a clarifier, because it could be so general, and I just kind of wanted to be a bit, to go a little bit more in depth. The card that came up was, like I showed you before, was the Father of Air, and so here we get the second king appearing as a clarifying card. Now, the Father of Air is a man that is actually really well established thanks to his intellect, and so he needs it to pursue anything in his life. And it's being the symbol of air, it's all about wanting to have truth and justice. And we go back to the seventh house, and we go back to the card before here, the card of adjustment. So it's all about this reading, it's all about leadership, fairness, justice, and establishing or re-establishing some kind of balance that has been knocked out sometime at some point. And so now this Father of Air could mean a few things. I mean, it's It's a person being the air suit. It means it's all up in his head. And so one possibility about what this represents in terms of clarification of the grief, it could be that this is a person in your life that is actually coming across to you as very detached, and so it's hurting you. Being, say that you are the father of water, again just an example, but say that you are the father of water, and so you're very connected to your emotions. It's probably very hard for you to connect on the same level with the father of air, because this father of air is somebody that's all up in his head, and you are all up in your, like all down in your heart. And so that could be the kind of balance that is needed here, that kind of work that needs to be done, like the different love languages. Which one do you speak? How do you express yourself? How do you communicate love to your loved ones? And so it could be that kind of dynamic going on at this point. And so, yeah, let's not get hooked up at all in the gender that we see, just because there are four kings or two kings in this case here, and the first line, the first row. It's not about gender. It's about the energy. We all have female and male energy. So this could, if this is a relationship kind of situation or a friendship kind of situation, let's not think, oh, but I'm a man, oh, but I'm a woman. It has nothing to do, whichever gender you identify with. This is all about the energy. So somebody that comes up in the form of a king is a very male kind of energy. So a bit stronger, let's say, a less of a yin and more of a yang. So this is an important note that I have to add here at this stage. And so at this point, on the second row that starts here with the Wheel of Fortune, it's more so about, okay, so what do we do with this scenario at hand? We have these two energies. We have a need for balance. We have a whole lot of pain, but we also know that we can grow. So what is going on? And so what goes on, the Wheel of Fortune being the first card, it tells me that things are changing in divine timing. And because I'm reading at this point, and this is the card that comes out, it tells me that this is the time that things are going to take a turn. And how they're going to take a turn? They're going to take a turn for the best possible way. The sun being not only your ruler, Leo, but also, I would say, the happiest card in the deck. I mean, it's a symbol of joy, symbol of rebirth in some respect, in terms of how we can express the most vitality that is in us out into the world, and how can we benefit from it. But then again, like I said, it's also your ruler, which makes this reading even more important for you, because it kind of confirms that your energy is in this reading. And that means that you are we're all protected, but this is a path that you're not walking alone. It's just an extra reminder of that. It's very important that the card that represents the ruler of the sign I'm reading for actually shows up in reading. It just gives me extra confirmation that things are working out the way they're supposed to be. And how is that? Well, the next card is the third king. It's the Father of Earth. So what does that tell me intuitively? The first thing I pick up on is that all of this emotion versus the mind kind of, not conflict, but kind of weighing up what to do, how to do it. And saying weighing up, I'm just looking at this card of adjustment, where you have this girl that is balancing out a few things on a rope. The Father of Earth, as following the sun and following the Wheel of Fortune here, it kind of gives me the grounding that the two energies before that we had before, so the water and the mental, are actually finally finding grounding, because the Father of Earth is the King of Pentacles in a regular deck. And so it's an energy that has a very clear understanding of his own talents, his own abilities, and he knows how to apply them, because he is the practical energy in this scenario, right? So he also is, and it's important to notice this because it kind of goes hand in hand with the Father of Water in some ways, is that the Father of Earth is actually a nurturing kind of person. It's somebody that will do whatever it's needed for the people he loves, and he would never ask for more than he would do himself. And so it's an important trait because I that is recurring here in the reading. And also I will show you two cards later which I actually pulled at the beginning of this reading, but I will show you only in a bit because it kind of for some reason it was very interesting. They sum up pretty much everything that it's been said right here, right now. But yeah, so it's important to notice that this Father of Earth is actually a very grounded and generous kind of figure, which really matches the Leo energy, strictly speaking. Now, the way this Father of Earth will let's say act on the energy, or how will it modify the energy that is being played at this time, is in a very, very fast movement kind of way. So you have the card of swiftness here, which corresponds to the Eight of Wands in the regular deck, and this really talks pretty much all about speed and how we really can go about things with a lot of confidence. Is a symbol of fire, so very fired up, literally. And so it symbolizes in a way a mix of energy and intellectual and physical ability. Okay, which make this card very interesting. For the purpose of explaining how things are turning out for you, and what kind of energy you will be dealing with. It's going to go very fast. Things are finally kind of getting somehow unstuck, and you will probably reach the kind of balance, or this situation will reach the kind of balance that it's needed in this sort of way. Now, interestingly, where this is headed in terms of where is this going afterwards, well, here we got the Father of Fire. So that's the last king that we are dealing with. And what this tells me is that there will be a whole lot of gained self-confidence in the process that you are in. The Father of Fires, the King of Fire, is pretty much a person with a whole lot of integrity and self-awareness, which you, Leo, certainly are not lacking of. And he's a wonderful leader himself. Is really devoted to those who entrust their own life or their own care into his hands, and he's always ready to lead and be on the front, and just show be the example. So it really completes for me a picture of how a person, be that you or somebody else, or the energy that is playing around you right now, is actually going to unfold. There will be success in this, and there has to be a real understanding of how influential this energy or this person or these people around you are actually at this time in your life. So there's a few ways that this can play out. This scenario can be like it definitely like it's shown by the Ace of Fire right here, which is the card that comes right here at the beginning of the last pile here. It's again, it's an element of fire, so it matches the last king, and that means that there's a lot of willpower, new beginnings. They are very fired up, like there's a lot of energy going on. There's a pure life force, which Leos are probably the sign with the most life force of all of the signs. So that matches your own energy. You're a fire sign yourself. So obviously that tells me that you will be in familiar waters finally. And then this card basically signifies that there is an arrival of new impulses and ideas, and it's all about energy and action. So So you need to take care, you need to take advantage of that. Now, there is a little bit of a caution here that I would like to point out. So let me just put this bit like this. Maybe it's easier for you to see. So here we got the son of air and the daughter of air that are following, just like after the ace of wands. And these are two different personalities that just go hand in hand, though. So this is kind of a bit of a caution that goes back to your shadow and light side, which I will highlight right here. The Son of Air is practical approach that is actually a person that pays a whole lot of attention to detail. He does not deal well with crisis situation, for example. It just doesn't do well with last minute changes or things that require a flexible approach. He just he when he commits to a course of action, he just likes to stick to it, and he has great skills to do that. And so it's kind of of a person that may be a little stubborn and a little bit inflexible, may not have the full picture at hand, but on the other hand is actually dedicated, is very concentrated, is very persevering, is reliable, he works hard, and he focuses on a goal. So that's a good side of it. It's a good energy to have on board. Now, the daughter of air, on the other hand, just right next to it, it's curious that they came one next to the other. It kind of has the same qualities as the son of air. It's very diligent. I mean, she's very diligent. She's focused. She does what she needs to do. She's very much in tune with her body, her needs. But she really doesn't like things to not go her own way. So if the son of air would not perform well in a situation when things the daughter of air, on the other hand, she could actually get very annoyed, and she could be, the kind of person that lashes out, and she will let you know if she doesn't like what she sees or what's been done to her. So here's a little bit of caution, because here the situation is really changing in your favor. Everything is going exactly the way it's supposed to be. You are gaining this kind of like, you have all the aspects you need to be, to have and download full wisdom. You got the 4 kings. So if that's you, or if somebody around you, or just simply the situation you're in, know that you have everything, that there is everything that you need at hand for you to succeed. But you need to be careful about, how you balance out all of these energies, because the risk is that you could not get what you deserve here, and what's here waiting for you, which is wealth, which is the 10 of Pentacles here, which is the most satisfaction that you could get when it comes to financial situations, or even a family situation, if you know the tarot, the classic tarot, the Rider-Smith, but many other tarot cards are actually pictured that way, more so than the wealth as it is here with grapes in full bloom. It's more so like the picture of a happy family that has everything that they need, that they are accomplished, that they have their property in check, they have it all to be happy. They have the dog, they have the house, they have the money to get going, and they have the love that they share for one another. And so the 10 of Pentacles, in order for you to reach it, you just need to use wisely, and wisdom is a good word here, to use wisely the resources that you've been given, that have been offered to you at this stage, which like I said, you really certainly don't lack of. So it's interesting. It's one of those readings where everything points in the same direction. And to top it up, like I said, I had pulled a couple of more cards at the beginning, which I normally don't do. And also, these are this is the first time in these readings that I'm using these cards, which I love, because they are about the archetype that is playing the most in your energy at the moment. And 2 cards have come out. One is the card of the Samaritan, which the light attribute to it says, refines your capacity to help those you would prefer to ignore. So there's the wisdom of to say, I am above any injustice that's been made to me. I know what's right, and I'm just going to go for that, no matter what others do to me. Now, the shadow attribute of this card is that you could exact appreciation and recognition for the help that you offer, but that again, that's one of the things that is very much, or that could be very much in the energy of a Leo specifically. So I find that it matches both your own energy, but certainly the energy of this reading, which is all about leadership and how you could be a leader for others. And the second card is the card of the guide. And it says the light attribute here is to represent the nature of the divine in life and in yourself. And what more than a Leo with his with his sun card, with his ruler in a reading can be symbolized by. I mean, it's just amazing. It's just you. Again, to any light attribute, we have a shadow attribute. And so in this archetype, it's about placing financial gain and control over imparting spiritual insight, which you would know better. You know that this is not what you're supposed to be doing in general. Okay, last thing I wanted to bring up, it was, this seems such a not heavy, but very deep and intense. And I don't know if this is what you were looking after. If this is not resonating, I would understand. It's just something so profound that it would just be for some of you, not for all of you. But I kind of wanted to leave you with a glimpse of lightness, a little bit, something that can make you think about other ways to pursue what you need. And so I pulled another card from an oracle, which is the Angel's Oracle. I don't use it much, but in this case, I kind of felt like, okay, let me give some more love to my Leos. And the card that came out was the card of Daydream, which actually matches one of the major Leo's quality, which is creativity. Listen to what it says. You will more easily hear and receive our messages if you daydream regularly. Relax and open your mind to receiving without directing your thoughts. Just notice any feelings, visions, or ideas as if you were watching a movie. This is the seat of creativity. Daydreaming is advised to you at this time where all of these energies are going on. You just have to, step back and kind of relax for a minute, like empty your mind and daydream if that's what you're called to do, because Leos are the symbol of creativity. And if you kill that part of yourself, you definitely cannot perform well, not for you, not for anybody. And nobody wants that. We all need some good Leo energy in the world. And so, so just think about it. This could be something else that could help you in your journey at this time. Well, I hope this resonated in some way. If it does, if you like what you hear, please don't forget to give me a like. And also, very important, please, if you could subscribe to my channel. Like I said, this is the beginning of my journey, and that would be great confirmation to me that this is something I should pursue, so that I can actually fulfill my hope and dream to be able to be of support of somebody, even if we're far. I mean, we're all connected, so I'd love to do that if that's something that makes sense at this stage. All right, well, thank you so much, and I hope to see you soon. I'll be publishing more videos very soon. And if you have any questions, just drop them in the comment box below. Thank you so much. Bye.